What's up and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Borderlands movie. But more importantly, how are you feeling about it? And if you did not know, the movie is slated to release August 9th of 2024. With just yesterday, Gearbox decided to shadow drop the Pandora's Box collection on all platforms. If you did not know, it is a collection that includes Borderlands 1, 2, the pre-sequel, the third game, as well as both of the Tales from the Borderlands releases. It definitely makes me wonder if they're scheming up something that we haven't quite figured out yet. But if you'd like to hear my thoughts on the new Borderlands collection, go watch yesterday's video where I touch on why I see it as a complete cash grab. As for established fans, we've already played these games, and even if you haven't played all of them, most of us already own the ones that we want. For someone jumping in, the initial $60 price tag isn't a bad start for all the content that you do get. But when this collection reverts to its intended price of $150, I seriously doubt many of you who haven't played these games before are really looking to spend that kind of money on old games that haven't been touched from the original state. And when I say original state, I mainly mean Borderlands 1 and 2, as the games haven't received any proper updates or fixes in many years now. But I can see why they do this, to try and get some more eyes on the series and potentially bring in some new players. But first, I just wanted to show a comment from yesterday's video before we hop into the movie discussion. This guy says, as someone who has never played Borderlands, I would buy this, but $150? And you can see there I left a reply, which was my genuine reaction to that comment, and I had to leave a heart. But then you'll see another reply saying it's actually on sale temporarily for $30. And what he's talking about there is if you already own one of the games in the collection, you will get an even bigger discount at $30 opposed to the $60 that it is on sale for right now. Whether you own Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel, or either of the Tales games, just any of those games in the collection, if you own any of them, you will get this at an even bigger discount for a limited time only. But that comment from my friend there who hadn't even played any Borderlands games only proves that $150 at entry is just ridiculous. And this guy hasn't even played the games like I just said. And sure, the collection is temporarily $30 if you do own one of the games in said collection, but how the hell does that help someone who's never played the games? If it makes any sense, the only people who can really take advantage of this said sale are the people like me who don't give a damn about it. This whole Pandora's Box discussion is just mind-boggling, to be honest, and definitely a weird approach to try and get some sales up. My assumption is that they really didn't like the way New Tales numbers were looking, so why not throw a bundle together? We're still like a year out from the movie, so this really isn't going to do any good or harm to the film. Could this be a sign that Borderlands 4 is coming sooner than we think? I'm not sure. Definitely another topic for another day. In terms of the movie, I really want to know, what are your thoughts? Are you guys gonna go watch it in theaters? For me, I'm always excited for anything new Borderlands related. Even the collection I shit on yesterday had some really badass art that I was actually hyping up, and I wish we got a physical version of that. There's always a positive, even with all the negatives, in anything Borderlands for that matter. With this movie, we've got some huge names assigned to some legendary characters from the franchise. So I'll just quickly run down some of them and give my quick thoughts. Kevin Hart as Roland. Roland is not that short. Coming from a long fan of these games, I think it's a bit of a weird casting call if I'm being straight up. Roland is infamously one of the more serious characters, and Kevin Hart just makes me think, oh, he's just going to be cracking jokes and talking in the high-pitched Kevin Hart voice the whole time. So I'll be honest, this one automatically threw me off. I'm not really sure where they're going with that one. I would have rather seen like Booker T or, you know, some sort of wrestler do this role. Cate Blanchett as Lilith. Now, I'll be honest, this one could be a hit or miss. She's an established actress with many accolades, and it all depends on what she brings to that role. If she phones it in for the quick check, then oh well. That's what they get for casting a 54-year-old as a character who's said to be in her late 20s to early 30s. And this movie is rumored to be loosely based on Borderlands 1 with its own original story, which I don't know, the little bits I've heard of it and the synopsis on Wikipedia, which we'll get to in a minute, kinda makes it sound like Handsome Jack might be in this, but I genuinely have no idea, as Commander Knox is already casted, and that's a villain from one of the more popular Borderlands 1 DLCs, so more than likely that is your big bad for this movie. That's at least the more likely scenario. But I'm not against it. I think she could be a perfect fit despite the age difference in the original story of the character. Cate Blanchett has been on Broadway and more famously in the Lord of the Rings movie as well as Thor Ragnarok. I've never seen any of these movies, but I've heard good things about Ragnarok, and I know The Lord of the Rings isn't for me, but plenty of people get into that shit, so what the hell. Cate Blanchett, I have my fingers crossed. Jack Black as Claptrap. Okay, so at first I was like, no, and then I realized, wait, fuck yes. Not only is Jack Black great at annoying ass voices, but he's a decorated actor in his own right. And the only reason I thought no was because my first thought was that in a live action film, oh, they're gonna dress him up as a robot or something and it's gonna be super cringe and corny. But within seconds, I realized no, he's probably just going to be completely CGI with Jack Black doing the voiceover. And that's more than okay with me. Add the Claptrap filter over the voiceover, and I think this will be good to go. One casting decision I haven't seen many people talking about is the character of Moxie. Gina Gershon is currently slated to play Moxie in the upcoming Borderlands film. And when I first read that, I immediately clicked on her and figured out how old she was, as a lot of actors are already a little bit older than their game counterparts. And Gina here is actually 61. But hang on, before you shit yourself and think, what? I actually went ahead and looked it up, and Moxie is said to be in her 50s in the first game. So this is completely fine by me. Hopefully she gets plenty of scenes, cause goddamn. Cause this woman does not at all look her age, and I was shocked to find out that she was that old. So overall, I'm completely good with it as long as she gets plenty of scenes in the movie. Wink wink, we're gonna be chilling on this one, boys. Jamie Lee Curtis as Patricia Tannis. Another veteran in the film industry, biggest roles being in the Halloween franchise. This is another one where I'm completely fine with it actually. Even with a little age difference, I don't see this one being a big issue. I think she fits the part just the way she looks right now, being a little older. I think she does fit the role of Tannis just off looks alone. When it comes to acting, the only movie I've ever seen her in was the original Halloween, which I just barely watched a couple of years ago on Halloween. And yeah, I mean, maybe if I saw this one when I was younger, I'd feel differently. But I'm more of a Freddy guy. That's just what I kind of grew up on. But despite that, I think she could make a damn fine Tannis, and there's really no complaints from me. Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina. I mean, she's a kid. I could definitely see her having the look of Tiny Tina, and I'm really not upset with this casting call at all. There's really not much to say about this one. It's fair enough. We're really just gonna have to wait and see what they end up doing with her. Florian Montiano as Krieg. And please don't maul me in the comments if I didn't say his name right. I think that's how it's pronounced. This guy I have myself to blame for not having watched the Creed movies yet. Because I'm a huge Rocky buff, and I know he plays Ivan Drago's kid in Creed 2, and I even recently got a collection with the first two Creed films. Still have yet to check those out because, well, time. There's not enough of it anymore. Either way, I think he'll be a beast of a Krieg, and it's another one I'm more than satisfied to see. But as for the big actors that have been casted for this movie, I think that pretty much covers it. Okay, so in terms of the plot, we really don't know that much other than the basic premise that we have on Wikipedia. You could pause and read this if you like. It sounds interesting enough, and if I'm really wanting to cover this, I'm going to have to be in those seats in the theater night one. And with all the development issues this movie's gone through, all the reshoots, rewrites, the film being delayed altogether, and even one of the lead writers, Craig Mazin, who's known for working on the very popular Last of Us TV show, has now completely distanced himself from the project and has asked to have his name taken out of the credits for the film. When you have someone as successful as Craig willingly wanting nothing to do with something he worked on, that really doesn't bode well for this movie. Regardless, I'm still going to give it the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, that's a big yikes for me. And I can't lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. This isn't a good sign, and mixed in with the rumors that the script has been through about 20 different hands by now, I'm going to be impressed if we get anything at least coherent out of this. I can't imagine all the issues this thing has had in the 8 years of development this thing has been through. Let's just try and remain optimistic about it. Growing up, I always thought a Borderlands movie would translate so well on the big screen. Now that it's coming, I definitely worry, but it doesn't diminish my absolute excitement for my favorite game franchise coming to the theaters. Do I think it's going to win any awards? Probably not. The history of gaming films is very hit or miss, and just gaming media in general that isn't video games. And with everything laid out as I just put it, this movie very much fits that category. So if you're asking me, I'm feeling okay. I'm not going to overhype myself or just completely say this is going to be a dog shit movie. I think with the writer's strike going on in the world that we should just be grateful that this thing's even coming out, because there's no doubt that that writer's strike has had a huge effect on getting this movie complete. I just really hope it's good, man, and it doesn't have to be great even. As long as it's good, I'll be happy with it. And that's really all I've got for you guys today. I hope you all did enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure to smash a like on it and subscribe if you guys are new. You guys know the drill. We've got more Borderlands content coming for you every single Friday and Sunday, and a little sprinkled in through the week when I feel like it, or if there's big Borderlands news to cover. But keep your eyes peeled for Sunday. I've got a new top 5 coming. And yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to the movie, but I'm not going to sit on my hands and sit here in front of this microphone and tell you that it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Because the way it looks, it's definitely scary. But the Borderlands fan in me can't help but be excited for it. I know a lot of you got to be feeling the same way, as I'm sure a lot of you grew up with this franchise just like I did. And we're all just hoping that it can translate well and we can sit down in the theaters and be like, oh shit, there's Skagzilla from the first game. Different references and homages. Like personally, I would like to see some of the actual weapons from the games inside of this movie. Could you imagine if we got to see someone using like an Unkempt Herald or a Norfleet in this movie? Regardless, I'm rambling, but the possibilities are completely endless with this one. I really hope they just go completely balls to the walls and make something that us fans can sit down and appreciate as Borderlands fans. And with that, I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. Stay tuned for more Hellfire videos. And before I close this thing out, you're going to be hearing a clip from my cousin's newest song. He goes by BMAC, and this song is called Bottle of Love. Please just give it a quick listen here at the end of the video. Other than this 20-second clip that I'm about to show you, I have not heard the song yet, but he has another one out called So High that I'm a big fan of. I personally think he's underrated and has a lot of potential. Please give him your guys' support. I will leave the links to his YouTube channel in the description as well as his SoundCloud. Please give Bottle of Love a listen for him. It would mean the world to myself and BMAC. Enjoy the song, and with that, I will see you all in the next one.
I was smoking like every single fucking day. I think that my mind might turn to gray. I don't know if what I'm